Hi everyone, welcome to the Talks with the Networks. Today we're gonna have the pleasure to meet Viktor. He's the managing director of the GFA network. Come and join me for a coffee with Viktor to learn more about GFA. Hi, I'm Xavi. I'm a freight forwarder based in China. Join me as I share with you my friends in the forwarding industry, stories and experiences of my 10 years of logistics in Europe and China. Welcome, Viktor. How are you?
This is all mine. Thank you. All is well. How are you?
Very good. Very good in these times of pandemia, but everything is fine. For today, we have the pleasure, as commented, to have Viktor. Viktor is the manager of GFA, a relative young network under the umbrella of GFA. And well, as you know, Viktor, we are doing these 6 questions in 6 minutes. We can go a little bit longer, of course. There is so many things to talk and to discuss and explain to everyone. So the first question, Viktor, where is GFA located and who is actually behind GFA?
So where we are located is very easily, actually. I can show you back here. It's somewhere in the center of Europe, Munich precisely, best known city for the beer, for the Oktoberfest. You've been there as well, you know it.
Yes.
Who's behind GFA? That's my associate Helmut and me. We started with the GFA network 6 years ago in 2015. GFA is was our 4th network. There's a total of 5 networks in the GF family, Viktor Fuchs group of networks. And well, back when we started the networks, that was already back in 2004, 2005, if I remember correctly. World of networking was much different back then, actually. I still remember a lot of sales calls where people were asking us whether we're selling some IT stuff, as we call ourselves a network company. And yeah, back then I think there was maybe only a dozen networks around. It was interesting times, actually.
Wow. And actually, as you said, GFA, it's part of the GF. You started back in 2014, 2004, and you started GFA in 2015. My second question would be why? I mean, why GFA was born?
The idea of our networks came from our daily business because both Helmut and me were coming from the forwarding industry. We're both running mid-sized companies, or we're running a mid-sized company. And as such a player in the market, you always have the need to have a global coverage. You need global agency contacts all over the world, not only in those famous places. I mean, everybody knows somebody in Shanghai or in New York, but you need agents in much, much more places, of course. And we thought that it would be a good idea, actually, to create a service, actually, to mid-sized forwarders just like us, and to create such a database, to create a network family where we have not only a phone book of addresses, but where we can really provide suitable and reliable contacts all over the world. That was the idea, actually. When we started the networks, it was always under consideration of a certain size, so we didn't want to become too big. I'm not a big fan of having a platform where you have too many agents in one and the same city. And for that reason, we created a certain limitation in size. But then the limitation in size brought us to another problem. The networks grew very quickly. And so we came to the point where simply we had too many agents in one and the same place, and too many inquiries actually to join us even. So we decided, okay, let's open up a new network. We did that once, we did it twice, and yeah, here we go, 5 networks. So far, so good.
Wow, seems quite a busy trip back in 2004, up to now.
And it was some interesting years, yes.
I can imagine. I understand that nowadays networks are well known, are better, known, but of course there is still more to show and more to teach from, right? There are some forwarders that they still don't know what is the purpose of the networks, right? and I believe that you guys have been doing and investing a lot of time, right, to explain that you are not an IT, no, IT company, but
that's right.
more than that, more than that.
Yeah, I think the purpose of the network is not only the having an address, but to use or to utilize the network. Really, it's there's much more in it, definitely.
And Viktor, moving on to the third question, we know that GFA now it has around 150 members. You guys are present over 75 countries. Why those companies, why those freight forwarders are joining GFA?
I would say simply because they feel comfortable with us. We are not a big phone book. We have a boutique style character. It's a family of forwarders, and this is actually what is very, very important for us. It should not be anonymous. I love, honestly speaking, to see how the members are interacting with each other. When I look at the WhatsApp groups, I love to see that it's not only about business, but they're also sharing pictures of what they did last weekend. They share pictures of their kids sometimes. It's just a different way of networking, and I think this is actually what's very important. And we don't only see this, of course, on the virtual basis, like with the WhatsApp group, but in particular we see this when the people are coming together. Now, last year it was not possible under well-known circumstances, of course, but whenever we see everybody at the conference, and when we see how over the years not only business relationships but real friendships came out, it's very nice for me as a host to witness that and to see how these things develop. And I think that's the reason behind our success, actually, to create relationships and friendships.
Sure. I can imagine. And if I have to ask you to describe, just try to describe GFA in one word, one adjective, one noun, or one sentence. What would come to your mind, or what does it come to your mind? How would you describe GFA?
One word: cool.
Cool. Okay, nice.
I simply love the bunch. I simply love those people, really.
That's good, Viktor. Moving on, Viktor. We know that in terms of for the freight forwarders, many times we might be worried about payment protection and credit terms. We have been talking in other talks in the network that as payment protection is how safe you are to get the money back from your services, and credit terms is how long is the other partner going to pay you, is going to pay you in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, whatever. How does, in general terms, how does GFA address this matter about payment protection and credit terms? Is there any special rule to follow? Is there any guidelines? How is GFA addressing or the group of GF addressing this matter?
In general, we have payment terms as a standard within the networks, which is every invoice of the current month is due for payment on the 20th of the consecutive month. Because if you say you have 30 days of payment terms, in theory it's a nice term, but in practice actually it looks different, because you're not going to pay, if you have every day one invoice, you're not going to pay every day after 30 days, of course. In order to save wire transfer charges, I think it's easier to have all the payments combined and consolidated on one day. So we agreed that the 20th of the following month would be a nice mixture, actually. That gives you minimum 20 days of payment terms, maximum 50 days. So by average, we're at a line of like 40 days. So that's, I think it's a quite reasonable payment term, 35, 40 days on average. On the other hand, we have, of course, a payment protection program, which is covering up to 15,000 euro. It's a reasonable amount. It's not too big, of course. I know that other networks are giving bigger amounts. The reason why our amount is at this moderate level is a very simple one. Our premium protection is operated by a trust fund scheme, which means that you only have to pay a replenishment if there is any reimbursement in the first place. So if there is no financial damage in over a certain time frame, then there is no payment which has to be done for this protection scheme. So it all works with one single deposit and that's it. Nowadays, payment protection becomes a very, very important thing. It always was, and I think especially now in 2020 and 2021, it's becoming an even bigger issue. I mean, we all feel that after this pandemic crisis, we might run into a financial crisis, and some countries are already in it. And we as the logistics companies, we're always standing at a very crucial point in this economical trade. So whenever there is a few of our customers being in struggle, we're automatically the ones who are being let down as well. And I think this year, 2021, is going to be a very decisive year for the logistics industry. So we have to be careful, we have to be aware of what's going on. And I think for us as the networks, it's a big responsibility towards our members to protect them and to look after them.
Sure, Viktor. Thanks for sharing. Absolutely, I consider, of course, that this payment protection has been always relevant. I agree on that, and nowadays it's becoming a bit more sensitive issue. But understand the point, and very clear. Thank you. And for the last question, Viktor. Okay. Yes. What are the plans? I mean, we have seen, let's say, challenging year for all of us. I think that we were kind of scared, all of us. By the end of the day, I would say that we enjoyed the year, let's say, in the logistics. But yes, for GFA, for GF Group, what are the learnings on that, and actually, what are the plans of GFA for 2021, and how are you adapting to this new situation, or any plans, any ideas, anything coming?
I think it was a very interesting year, this 2020, and I think in a certain way everybody of us learned that it's not really important to do every sales trip. I think we all found a very interesting mode how to survive and how to make different meetings and different sales calls than we did all over the last year. So I think going virtual has been a good plan B, and it worked out pretty well so far, actually. And I think in a lot of cases, this plan B developed as a perfect plan A, actually. On the other hand, there are certain limits, and frankly speaking, I think it's a nice way how we can communicate now over Zoom and to have this nice interview or chat, however you may call it. But frankly speaking, I see that beautiful coffee shop behind you, and I would rather prefer to sit there together with you and have a coffee, and later on go out for a nice dinner. And I think this is exactly our situation which we have as networks, and I'm speaking not only for us, but I guess also for the other networks. We're all fine in finding certain solutions how to get our members together, even in those difficult times, and going virtual is one of these options. But I think we're all looking forward to meet our fellow members again in person, and to really enjoy time together, not only to have face-to-face meeting over some webcam, but just to sit together in the lobby and the bar, spend a nice day together at the leisure day. So, and that is actually, having said that, that's also our outcast for 2021. We're going a little bit on parallel options here. We're just about now working on getting our next virtual conference launched. So that's going to take place in the next few months. And apart from that, I'm very positive that we will have a chance to gather again on a physical basis later on this year, hopefully in the third quarter or fourth quarter of this year. And I think this might be an option for at least the next coming 1 or 2 or 3 years, depending on how quickly we will adapt, and also depending on how what more challenges actually this virus is going to bring to us.
Sure.
Let's see.
Let's see what is coming. Absolutely, I think I agree, Victor, that at the end we need this face-to-face, that we speed up a little bit on these virtual meetings, these virtual situations. But we really need these coffees, tea, whatever, a beer in Munich, face. I want to thank you, Victor. Thank you very much. Very interesting to learn about GFA, how came from the group from 2004 and was born in 2015, how it grew very rapidly up to 150 members, more than 75 countries represented who trust GFA, and to have the feeling of the cool network, the kind of friendship, right, that you describe on the network, how you address this payment protection and these credit terms. Hopefully we might see some face-to-face meeting by the end of 2021. Let's be positive.
That's good.
Otherwise, maybe 2022. But thank you very much, Victor, for your time. Thank you for being in these talks with the networks and let us know more about the GF group and especially for GFA.
Thanks a lot, my friend, and I really appreciate having the opportunity to speak out here, and I really have to thank you of putting all of us networks together. It's a lot of work, I can imagine, and yeah, really great job done. Congratulations, and thanks for having us.
Thank you, Victor. Bye-bye.
Thank you.